So for the online guys, hope my voice is clear for you. Online, can you please confirm me whether I'm audible or not? Okay, fine. So we can start session for now. Hmm. So from today onwards, what we are going to start? DevOps or Git? How many of you say DevOps? Raise your hands. DevOps in Git, not Git in DevOps. See, from today onwards, we are going to start DevOps. Okay. In the DevOps, the first tool we are going to see is Git. Why? Because everything that is going to start from the source code management only. Okay. So let's understand what is a source code first of all. I think all of you know what is the meaning of source code, right? What is source code? Don't know. Source code. Sorry. Site information. Okay. Then still application main code. Okay. Then still correct only. Any other answers? Source code. Code store in that location. Okay. Actual code that need to be deployed. Correct. See, the simple definition of source code is nothing but let's take any application. Book My Show application or Facebook or WhatsApp or Instagram, it doesn't matter. Whatever application you take, every application will be running on the code level. If you create a code, that code is going to run the application. Without code, can we run the application? The answer will be straightforward no. Okay. So if I open the notes for all of you, let me open the template first of all. Canva. We are starting with the Git, right? So let me explain the Git for you. So from today onwards, our classes will be on presentation mode. Okay. So for every tool, what you are going to learn, you will be getting the presentation, and all of this presentation will be available on your Google Classroom itself. Okay, fine. So in today's session, we are going to start the Git. But before going to the Git, I think all of you know SDLC, right? SDLC. What is SDLC? Software Development Lifecycle. What is the purpose of DevOps? DevOps main purpose is to automate the SDLC. Is it clear for all of you? What is the main purpose of DevOps? To automate the HDLC. That means entire software development lifecycle is going to be automated with the help of the DevOps. So in the software development lifecycle, first stage will be planning. Of course, planning we are not going to involve. Why? Because that is the work of the technical architects. For every organization, we have the technical architects or even DevOps architect. Any one of them are going to decide the architecture. But coming to the step number 2, we are going for the code actually. Guys, again, I'm telling, as a DevOps engineer, you are not going to write the code. But whatever the code that is going to given by the developer, we are going to use the code and we are going to deploy on the server. Okay. So in order to understand the source code management, we need to use a tool called Git. The full form of Git is called as Global Information Tracker. What is the full form of Git? The name itself is indicating globally it can track any kind of information. Correct or not, sir? The name itself is indicating. Fine. Let me draw a diagram for all of you in order to understand how exactly this Git is going to work in the real-time aspect. Let me tell you a scenario. For example, I want to create an application called Paytm application. Which application? Paytm. So for this Paytm, we have a lot of services. I'll be taking movies as my service number 1. Okay. Recharge as my service number 2. And apart from that, I have some other service called Train is my service number 3, as well as DTH will be my service number 4. How many services I'm having here? Movies, Train, Recharge. So in my application, I want to include these 4 of the services. Now here, whenever if you go to any of the company, this source code will be written by multiple developers. One person cannot able to write the source code for any application. So definitely we need to have some bunch of developers. So in my organization, I'm having two different, like four different developers. Developer one, okay, and developer two, or like developer three here I can write. Similarly, I have developer two and developer four. So total I have four different developers. So developer one will be writing the source code for the movies. Developer two will be writing the source code for train. Developer three for recharge and developer four for DTH. My question is, sir, why can't single developer can write the entire source code? What is the reason we are not gonna write the single code with the help of one developer? Why? Because if one developer try to write all the codes, it will take a lot of time or not, sir? That is the reason we are going to distribute the code to the different developers. See, instead of working with one developer, if I work with four different developers, automatically my work will be reduced. Fine. So here developer one is going to write on the source code called movies. Okay. Developer one is having one local laptop. In his local laptop, he is going to write the source code for the movies. Let me make this highlight by using some other color. So guys, this first architecture, what I'm going to teach you is going to be very, very important. If you understand the architecture, the concept of Git will be very, very easy for all of you. Okay. Developer one is going to write the code on where, sir? In his own local laptop. Similarly, developer two is going to write the source code on his own laptop. Developer three will be writing the code on his local laptop, and developer four will be writing the code on his local laptop. So again, developer one write the source code for movies in his laptop. Developer two write the code for the train in his local laptop. Developer three will write the code for recharge, and developer four will write the code for the UTH. Now four different developers are writing the code for the four different services. It was fine. But here my question is, where these developers are writing the code? On their local laptop. Tell me one thing. At the end of the day, if I want to create an application, do I need to get the code from four developers or not, sir? If I combine all of the code, then only I can be called as application. So here as a project manager, what I want is, so I want to get the entire code. So I'm going to write it as manager. Now this manager want to get code from all the developers. Okay. But currently, where is the code? Developer's laptop is hosting the code. Now who want to get the code? Manager. Now understand the scenario. For example, sir, developer one is living on Mumbai. Where is living on? Or let's take different countries. Okay. India he is living on. Developer two is living on USA. Huh? And similarly, developer three is living on Australia. Developer four is from Thailand, for example. Okay. So now tell me, four different developers are living on four different countries. Now what manager want to do? First of all, manager will book a flight ticket. Okay, he will go to India to get the code from developer one. Later from India to he's gonna travel to USA to get the code from developer two. From USA, then again he will travel to Australia to get the developer code. And from Australia, finally he go to Thailand, he get the code and he'll enjoy sometime there. Is it going to happen or not, sir? No, why? Because see, to get the code, you are going to travel the different countries, which is not acceptable. That is the reason what we are gonna do is, see, initially this code will be on local laptop only. That means if I want to use their code, definitely I need to get their laptops. So it is very difficult to get the different developers' laptop to a single place. That is the reason why we are going to use something called as GitHub. What we are going to use? GitHub is a place where we can put all the developers code in a single place. So let me make it with some different color. So it is my GitHub. What do I call it as my GitHub? Once developers write their code, at the end of the day, what this developer can do is, these people can send the code from their local laptop to the GitHub. Developer one write the movies code, he send the code to the GitHub. Now developer two will write the code on his local laptop and send to the GitHub. Now developer three will write the code on their local laptop, he's gonna send to GitHub, and similarly developer four also gonna do the Same thing. Now he is going to send the code to the GitHub. Where these people are going to send the code now? GitHub. Now tell me one thing. Instead of going to 4 different places to get the code, now developer can directly go to the GitHub and can get all people code or not, sir? Think logically. In the scenario number 1, what is a manager take the flight, gone to India, USA, Australia, and Thailand to get the code. If you do like this, what will happen? It is the dumbest way. Why? Because we are going to spend a lot of time, we are going to spend a lot of money and energy also. But instead of we go to the different developer location, if developers send their code to a central place, now this manager can take the entire code from only one place or not, sir? Now, what is the place here? GitHub. What is this single place? So here my question is, sir, developer 1 is in India, developer 2 is on USA, developer 3 is on Australia, and developer 4 is on Thailand. But all of these people are going to send the code to the GitHub. Now my question is, where is GitHub? Where is the GitHub? Huh? GitHub is on internet. Where is the GitHub? That means if we have internet access from anywhere, from any point of time, and from anyone's laptop, you can access the GitHub. Now simply, manager can sit on his home and he can get the code or not, sir? Why? Because every code is on the GitHub. But where is the GitHub? GitHub is an internet-based platform. GitHub is what here? Internet-based platform which can host the source code. Okay. In the real time, whenever we start the project, the first thing we are going to do is we will allocate the different work for different developers. Once developer write the code, at the end of the day, these people are going to put the code to the GitHub. Now manager can take all developers code from where? From GitHub. From his home, he can sit on his home and with the help of internet access, he can able to get the code. So is the architecture of Git and GitHub clear for all of you? Know? Online, can you please confirm is the architecture clear for all of you or not? So online, try to respond all of you. Why? Because your response is going to be very important for the sessions. Okay. Based upon your response only, the class is going to be happen. If it is clear, it's fine. If it is not clear, just let me know. I'll explain one more time for you. So fortunately, I got S from everyone. That was great. Okay, sir. Now here you said the Git and GitHub. You said GitHub is an internet, but where is Git now? You said GitHub is an internet, but where is Git now? Also on internet, huh? Tell me, huh? Developers? Exactly. So Git is going to present on the developer laptop. See, initially, before writing the code, these developers will install Git on their local laptop. What these developers are going to install? Git. So definitely, developer need to install Git before writing the code. So Git will be on developer local laptop and GitHub will be on internet. This is the fundamental point you need to understand. So I'm writing here, Git will be placed on developer laptop. Okay. And GitHub will be placed on internet. That means initially developers write the code on their local laptop. But at the end of the day, they are going to send the code to the GitHub, which is on internet. You can ask me, sir, if you put code on internet, everybody can see or not, sir? So if everybody will see the code, then where is the privacy? Where is the protection? Even though if our code is on internet, okay, we will have the privacy. Why? Because whatever the code you are going to put, you are going to put the code on the private repository. Which repository? Private repository means whatever the code you publish it on the GitHub is not going to visible for all of you. The person who has the username and password, only they can able to see it. Is it clear for all of you now? That's it. So this is an high level overview and the architecture of both Git and GitHub. Fine. Okay, now, so if we go to the presentation now, you got some clarity about Git and GitHub. No seats, huh? I think you have there. Okay. So now come back to the point here. So Git is nothing but global information tracker, which can track the entire information. You know what is Git? Git is nothing but it's a tool which is going to present on the local laptop of developer. But GitHub is going to present on the source code is going to travel from Git to GitHub. Correct. So here you can see the major function of Git. First of all, I'm speaking about Git, then later I'll speak about the GitHub. The major function of the Git is nothing but it can also be called as version control system, or you can call it as source code management. Guys, if you go to interview, they will not ask about what is Git. They'll ask about what is VCS or what is SCM. Don't expect direct questions on interview. Sometimes you will be getting the indirect questions. Okay. Instead of asking what is Git, they might ask you what is VCS, or they might ask you what is SCM. Here VCS can be called as version control system. What do we call as? Or SCM can be called as source code management. I'll tell what is this. For example, see, it is my application version 1 and it is my application version 2. Which one is advanced, version 1 or version 2? Version 2. Now you tell me, whenever if you see both the versions, version 1 and version 2, you are seeing some differences, right? Now tell me, when I compare code with my version 1 with my version 2 code, is the code is going to be changed or code is going to be differ? Definitely. So if it is same code, we cannot get the version 2. Okay. So now here, if you understand the point, I'm writing it here very, very clearly. Let me write it. So Git can be called as version control system. What do we call as? VCS. That is called as version control system. The name itself indicating it is going to control each version of the code. Okay. What is the main purpose? It is to store each version of code separately. What is the purpose of version control system? To store the each version of the code separately. I'll go to explain this with a simple example. For example, let's take Instagram as our example, or you can take Paytm, any application. For version 1, okay, for version 1 of Paytm, I have only one service. How many service I have? For one services, I need 100 lines of code. Okay. So this 100 lines of code, I'm gonna store on the folder 1. Where I'm gonna store on? When it comes to the version 2, after 6 months, I'm gonna create the version 2. But in version 2, I want 2 services. How many services? Sir, for single service, I wrote 100 lines of code. But for 2 services, now how many number of lines of code I'm gonna write? 200 lines, for example. Now this code, I'm gonna store on the folder number 2. Similarly, after 6 months, I'm gonna release version number 3. So in version number 3, I'm gonna add one more new service. So total number of services will be now 3 services. So now for these 3 services, I'll put 300 lines of code. And again, this code is going to store on folder number 3. Like this version control system will store the each version of the code separately. You can ask me, sir, what is the purpose of storing the each version of the code separately? I'll tell you. For example, if you can go to the diagram here you can see version 1 code is storing on separate location. Version 2 code is going to store on separate location, and version 3 code is going to store on the separate location. So here you can ask me, sir, why to store the 3 versions of the code separately? I'll tell with a basic example. For example, in Paytm, okay, we have a service to pay the movie tickets. Okay. Or you have the services to pay some amount to the bank or like any other thing. What happened is currently you are on the version 3. Where you are on? Version 3. So in version 3, you have very small bug. What you have? Very small. You withdraw 100 rupees or you withdraw 1000 rupees. But instead of showing 1000 rupees, it is showing 1 lakh rupees. Now what will happen? Users will get heart attack or not, sir? Definitely. See, instead of showing 1000 rupees, it is going to show how much? 1 lakh. Why? Because, so if you go and see where is the marker? Do you have marker there? Okay, let me write it here. Fine. So if you see this 1000 rupees, we are going to put dot dot, correct or not, sir? But the smallest bug is here, this dot is not working in the code. Now, if I remove the dot, what is the value now? Very small bug or not, sir? So now tell me one thing. If you are getting these kind of bugs, what will happen? User will be getting lot of confusion. At that time, what you are going to do? Are you going to change the source code or not, sir? Why? Because in my version 3, I have a small bug. What I have here? Small bug. So this bug is going to cost lot of misfunctionality in the application. Now, immediately what exactly you are going to do is you are going to fix the bug. What you are going to do? But which is going to be very blender. Which is going to be very, I'll tell you why. Sir, you are saying that in version 3 you got the bug. Now you are going to fix the bug. But tell me one thing. Do you know how much of time it will take? You get a issue, you want to resolve the issue. But do you know how much of time it required to resolve the issue? Can we give a guarantee? You thought the bug is very easy. But what you have done, you started working. Within 1 hour, you got no response. Within 2 hours, you got no response. Within 3 hours, within 10 hours, you haven't got any response. What you are doing now? You are trying to fix the issue. But within these 10 users, within these 10 hours, there are some thousands of users who is going to use the application or not, sir? Now, these thousands of users are going to get lot of mistakes. Now, instead of fixing the bug, what you can do is immediately you are going to release the version 2. Instead of fixing the bug on the version 3 and wasting the time, if you release version 2, in version 2, application is working properly or not, sir? This is what we are going to do. And this process, it what exactly we can call as rollback. What do we call as? What is the meaning of rollback? Going back to the previous version of application. Okay. So I'm writing here, going back to the previous version of application. That means simply current version is version number 3. But you are going to go from version number 3 to version number 2. Sir, why we need to go to version number 2? Why? Because if you're still working on version number 3, it might take a lot of time and many users will be getting the issues. So the primary thing when an application got failed, okay, the primary thing what you are going to do is you are going to do the rollback or you are going to fix the bug. Why rollback? Because if you do rollback, application will work. But if you don't do rollback, if you try to fix the bug, it is going to take a lot of time and many users will get issue. That is the reason. Okay, sir, now you said about rollback is the best option. But tell me one thing, if I want to do rollback, I need to have the previous version code or not, sir? What is the purpose of Git? To store the each version of the code separately. Now Git will store the version number 2 code in a folder number 2. Now if I go to folder number 2, automatically I'll get the version 2 code or not, sir? But if Git doesn't store this code, what will happen now? My entire application will be shut down. Correct or not? Why? Because there is lot of bugs are running. You cannot fix them. You don't know how much time it will take. In this case, the entire application will be shut down. So in order to prevent this kind of issues, we are going to use the concept called Git here. What we're going to use? So Git can be called as version control system. What is the purpose of version control system? To store the each version of the code separately. Version 1 code separately, version 2 code separately, and version 3 code separately. Sir, why we need to store the code separately? Why? Because to do the rollback. Now, what is the meaning of rollback? Going back to the previous version of the application. Sir, when can you go back to the previous version of application? When you store the each code separately. Now, is the importance of Git clear for all of you know? Online, can you please confirm, is the importance of Git clear for all of you or not? Fine. So see, to explain the small concept called rollback, we need to discuss this many things. See, whatever the things you are going to learn here, each and everything will be clearly elaborated with the example. Why? Because if I go for more examples, the concept will become very easy. If I don't explain this scenario, If I try to tell the rollback, are you able to understand what is rollback? That's it. Okay. So whatever the course we are going to learn, everything will be detail, structure, as well as depth. Fine. Now you came to know that with the help of the Git, we can store the each version of the source code separately. But here, now my question is, what exactly the Git is? Now here, I'm going to teach what is Git now. See, Git is nothing but it is used to track the files. See, what is the meaning of tracking, to follow up? What is the meaning of tracking? So the main purpose is to track the files. It will maintain the multiple version of the same file. Again, this is going to be very, very small word, but I'm going to explain with the detailed structure. What is the meaning of multiple version of the same file? I'll explain with the smallest example here. Go ahead and check. Sir, I think all of you know index.html, right? What is index.html? Index.html. Guys, index.html is the basic file that create to application. If you want to create the application without index.html, you cannot create any kind of application. Okay. Now tell me, what is the basic file to create any application? Index.html or index.jsp, anything will be fine. So for example, if you take the index.html, in version 1, I have the index.html, but it is 10 lines only. How many lines? But in the version 2, now the index.html will become 20 lines. Okay. Similarly, in the version 3, the same index.html will be becoming now 30 lines. Now, if you go and see, versions are changing, but the file will be same or not, sir? That is the meaning of multiple version of the same file. Whenever the version is changing, the code inside the file will change, but again, the file will be same file. That is what exactly we can call as multiple version of the same file. What is the example of multiple version of same file? Index.html. Again, what is index.html? Basic file to create any application. Correct. So this Git is platform independent. Sir, what exactly the meaning of platform independent? You can run Git on Windows, you can run on Linux, and even you can run on Mac OS. That means it can be designed to install and work on any kind of operating system. See, whatever the tools we are going to learn on DevOps, everything will be platform independent and every tool is going to be free and open source. Remember these points. For example, if you go to interview, okay, if somebody asks you what is Kubernetes, you don't know what is Kubernetes, tell them it's a platform independent, it's free and open source. Trust me, man, it's going to be correct. See, instead of telling nothing, these two lines are better or not, sir? Or if they ask you what is Prometheus, again, it's platform independent, it's free and open source. Or if they ask you what is Grafana, again, it's platform independent, it is free and. If you don't know about the tool, tell these two lines at least. Eh? Fine. Why? Because all the DevOps tools, what we are going to use, it's going to be platform independent as well as it's going to be free and one more point also you can add. It is very important tool in DevOps. For every question, same answer. Huh? Fine. And again here, sir, free means we are not going to pay any kind of amount. And what is the meaning of open source here? See, already we discussed open source means source code will be visible on internet. We can see the code, we can change the code. Change means modifying, and we can distribute the code also. So this Git can handle larger project efficiently. And coming to the generation, it comes to the third generation of version control system. Which generation? Third generation. And we know Git is written on the C programming language. It comes on the year 2005. Again, now my question is, sir, what is the major thing that we need to write C programming for the Git? What is the basic thing here? Why we need to write Git on C programming language only? Already this question I asked on the Linux operating system, right? At that time, what is the answer? Because at that time, only language is C. But when the Git comes into the market, 2005, that means we have both Java and Python also. But still, why we use C programming language for the Git? We can use. Your answer is somewhat similar, but only two words are missing. Based on? Okay. But it is platform independent, na? You can use on Windows and you can use on Mac OS also. I think you can find the common similarities between Linux as well as Git. Linux is platform independent. It is free and open source. It is written on C programming language. Git also platform independent, free and open source, and C programming language. And the common thing between these two is nothing but same person has given the Git for us. Who given the Linux for us? Linux? Torvalds. The same person invented the Git actually. That is the reason he chose the C programming language. Okay. And don't ask me, sir, doesn't he know Java or Python? Even I don't know whether he know or not, but he chose to work with the C programming language only. Again, I'm explaining these topics one more time. So Git major functionality is to track the file. So it will maintain the multiple version of the same file. What is the example of multiple version of same file? Index.html. It is platform independent. That means you can use on any kind of operating system. It is free and open source, and it can handle larger project very efficiently. Coming to the generation, what kind of generation we are going to use for Git, sir? Third generation. And it is written on which programming language? C programming language. And Git comes on the year 2005 itself. So is the slide clear for all of you know? Online, can you please confirm are these 8 points clear for all of your note? Can you please confirm in chat box online? So it was clear. That was great to hear. Fine. Okay, sir. Now you said that previously Git comes under third generation, right? That means before Git, we have two generations, right? Let's go and explore what are the tools that we use before Git. Basically, this slide is irrelevant for the Git, but the reason why I'm sharing with you is to get the knowledge. Why? Because you need to understand the features of Git, as well as you need to understand the history of evolution for the Git. Okay. But again, these questions you are not going to get on any kind of interview, and nobody will ask these questions. But the reason I'm teaching for you is completely for your knowledge purpose. Initially, in the year 1972, okay, we have a tool called SCCM. Which tool it is? SCCM full form is Source Code Control Manager. Okay, it comes in the year 1972. But tell me one thing, if I want to create an application, do I need to have source code on single file or multiple files? Do we write source code on single file or multiple files? Single file. How on single file? Multiple files. And in a project, is single developer going to work or multiple developers will work? Multiple developers. But at that time, SCCM can support to store only one file, and it can be only supposed to work with single developer. Now it is a limitation or not, sir? Why? Because in projects we have multiple files as well as we have multiple developers. But this is designed to track only one file and to give permission for only one developer. So after few years, there is new tool called RCS, Revision Control System. What is RCS here? Revision Control System. This tool can track multiple files, but again, the permission will be given to only single person. So again, it got failed. Why? Because single user permission. But after a few years, there is one more tool called concurrent version system. Which one? CVS, concurrent version system. It can track multiple files. It can track multiple folders. But what is the limitation again? Single user. Sir, in SCCM, we have single user. In RCS, we have single user. And in CVS also, we are having single user. But in the year of 2000, there is a tool called Subversion. Which tool? What this Subversion can do is it can track multiple files. It can track multiple folders, and permission can also be given for multiple developers. Now you tell me, when I compare SVN with CVS, RCS, and SCCM, which one is good now? Why SVN is good? Because multiple files can be tracked, multiple folders can be tracked, and multiple persons can able to work on it. Correct or not, sir? But after 5 years, what happened, there is one more tool called Git comes into the market. Which tool? Whatever SVN can do, Git can do the same thing. SVN can track multiple files and multiple folders, but Git can also track the multiple files and multiple. Perfect. SVN can work with multiple developers, whereas this Git can also have the flexibility to give permission to multiple developers. But lot of people started using Git. The main reason why lot of people started using Git is there is only one difference. SVN is centralized. What is SVN? And Git is distributed. I'll explain what is the difference between centralized and distributed. Let's go back to our notes here. And I'm going to write this difference here. See, I'm writing here CVCS. CVCS stand for Centralized Version Control System. Centralized Version Control System. Here I can copy paste it instead of typing. Okay. And there is one more thing called DVCS. DVCS. DVCS means distributed. Sir, what is the difference between them? Difference is very clear. Centralized means you have entire source code on only one place. You have entire source code on one place. If I draw a diagram, you'll be getting the clarity. So I'll be scroll down here. In centralized, I can store the source code on single place. That means on single repo. A repo can be called as folder or directory. Okay. But in DVCS, that means in distributed version control system, same source code you can put on multiple directories. That means multiple repos. Now, which one is better? First one or second one? Second one. Why second one? Because in the first method, if my source code got deleted, I don't have the chance to retrieve my code. My entire thing will be gone. That is the reason why we are not going to use centralized version control system. But if you go to the distributed version control system, if you lost the source code on one repo, second repo will have the code. Or if you lost the source code on second repo, you have the same code you can be able to place on the multiple repositories. That is the reason why multiple people started using it rather than using the subversion. So is the difference between CVCS and DVCS clear for all of you? CVCS means stores code on single repo. What is the example here? SVN. What is the example? But whereas if you go for DVCS, okay, it is going to store code on multiple repos. What is the example here? Git. So is the difference between CVCS and DVCS clear for all of you? Yep. Okay. So CVCS stand for Centralized Version Control System. See, basically, if you choose this kind of model, you can store source code on single repository. Repo is nothing but a folder here. In the diagram I mentioned, this one is nothing but CVCS. Here my entire source code will be uploaded to only one folder. Unfortunately, if I lost the folder, my entire source code will be gone and I need to rewrite the entire source code. But if I go to the other approach called DVCS, Distributed Version Control System, I can store the source code on multiple repos. That means if for my repository 1, if I lost the code, I have on my repository 2. In my repo 2, I lost my code. Even I have on the repo number 3. So this is what we can call as distributed. Okay. What is the example of distributed here? Git. So is it clear for all of you? So whenever if you go to interview, it is going to be first question. What is the difference between CVCS and DVCS? Okay. Don't worry. I'm going to explain the interview questions also at the end of the class. From today onwards, at the end of the session. Okay. After going for your doubts and queries, I'm going to tell you what are the possible interview questions from today's topic. And I'm going to give you the questions and you are going to tell me the answers. Fine. So again, I'm going to explain everything from the scratch to here one more time for your even better clarity. So VCS stand for Version Control System. Why we need to use it? To store each version of the code separately. Okay. Version 1 code separately, version 2 code separately, version 3 code separately. What is the purpose of storing each code separately? to do the rollback. What is the meaning of rollback, sir? Going back to the previous application. I mean, like previous version of the application. When you can go back to the previous version of application, when you have the previous code separately. Okay. So to store the each version of the code separately, we are going to use a tool called Git. So major function is to track the files. It will maintain the multiple version of same file, which is the example of index.html. It is platform independent. It is free and open source, and this can handle larger project efficiently. Coming to the generation, which generation of Git we are using now? Third, and it is written on which programming language? It comes on the year 2005. And coming to the version control system, how many type of version control system we are having? Two. What are those? CVCS, DVCS. CVCS means centralized version control system. So it stores source code on single repo. What is the example? SVN. DVCS means distributed version control system. It can store the source code on multiple repos. Example will be. So is the concept clear for all of you till now? Online, can you please confirm? Is it clear for all of you till now? Okay, it's clear for all of you. Great. Fine now. Sir, here if I go to the slide now, so now here we need to understand what is the stages of the Git. You know what is Git and why to use and how to use also. But here if you want to use the Git, you need to understand about the stages. What we need to understand? This is also what we can call as Git architecture. Sir, in the Git architecture or in the Git stages, we have total 3 stages. How many? First one is working directory. Second one is staging area. Third one is repository. See, stage 1 and stage 2 and this stage 3 all will be going to done on our local laptop only. In our local laptop only, these stages are going to work. Again, what are the stages here? Working directory, staging area, repository. All these 3 stages will be on our local laptop only. Okay, let me explain what are these stages in detail. So guys, if you go to notes here, I'm writing here architecture or stages of Git. First stage will be working directory. Working directory means where we write the source code. Okay, I'm writing here where we write source code. Second one will be staging area. Staging area means where we track the code. What is the meaning of staging area? Where we track the code. And third one will be repository. Repository means where we store the code. Where we store the tracked code. Which code? Guys, here we store the tracked code only. Okay. Coming to the codes, once you write the code will have 2 phases: tracked phase, untracked phase. In repository, which kind of code we are gonna store here? Tracked code. So again, I'm explaining one more time for you. In working directory, we are going to write the code. Staging area, we are going to track the code. In repository, we are going to store the tracked code. Let's go and understand what is this in detail. Initially, once we install Git on our laptop, okay, let me show you. There is something called as Git bash. Are you seeing the Git bash here? This is what exactly we can use for our code. See, here I'm gonna create a folder. For example, mkdir swiggy cd swiggy. Now here in this folder, I can go and I can write the code. This is what I can call as my working directory. What I can call as. So in your laptop, you are going to create a folder for your source code. That folder is what we can call as working directory. But after that, once your code is written, you are going to track the code. What you are going to do? So where you are going to track the code on the staging area. Once this tracking is done, you are going to store the code on repository. Already we've seen, definitely you need to store the code on repository only. So if we want to store the code on repository, we need to track it. So tracking is going to done on the staging area. Once the code is tracked, you are going to store the code on the repository. Again, where is the repository? Repository is on our local laptop only. Where it is? Local laptop. Sir, what is a repository? Means see, there is a thing called .git. Currently, I'm going to list the files here, ls-al. I don't have any files here. Are you seeing any files here? You don't see any kind of file. But if I give the command git init, then you can see something called as .git. What you can do? Are you seeing .git? This .git is what we can call as our repository. What do we call it as? If we have .git, then only you can store the code. If you don't have .git, you cannot store the code. But again, at the end of the day, all of these actions we are going to perform on the server level. Here, you can use Git on your Windows terminal and you can use on Linux terminal also. But the main thing here to understand is, as a DevOps engineer, your daily works will be part of on your Linux environment. That is the reason I'm going to create a server. And in that server, we have the Linux operating system. And there I'm going to show you how to install the Git. So here I'll be going and I'll be creating a server called Git. Let me create the server. I think all of you know how to create the server here. Fine. So guys, remember, whatever the tools you are going to learn here, every tool you are going to perform on the Linux server only. See, you can use tools on Windows operating system and Linux also. But which one you want to prefer? Linux. Okay. But again, working will be same. Whether if you use on Windows or if you use on Linux, working will be same. But the only difference is platform will be different. That is Windows and this will be Linux. You can ask me, sir, why you are telling the class on Linux? Why not on Windows? What is the reason? Because in real time, your entire work will be on Linux platform only. You are not going to work on Windows. So fix this point on your brain. Your only operating system in real time will be Linux. That is the reason everything I'll teach on the Linux platform itself. If I teach on Windows, it will be very easy for you and me, but it doesn't help you at any cost. Okay. And this is the MobaX term what I'm using. As of now, you don't know what is the meaning of MobaX term. I'll tell you how to install MobaX term in the upcoming classes. Okay. If you want to practice on the server, click on this checkbox, click on connect. Are you seeing the connect option here? Here you can practice on the browser. Same commands will work without any difference. Okay. Why? Because if you're comfortable on this server, then you can use terminals. Okay. Am I able to connect to my server here? So here also you can practice. And even though in the MobaX term also you can be able to practice. But I choose MobaX term here. Sudo -i. Yep. So now here I'll go and I'll install the Git. So guys, first of all, create a separate folder. Okay, I am gonna work on the Paytm application. So I'll create Paytm folder, mkdir Paytm. And if I want to go inside the folder, cd Paytm, you can install Git. Of course, first you can install the Git and you can create folder, or you can create the folder and you can install Git. Anything is fine. Sir, in Linux, if you want to install anything, you need to use yum. Yum is a package manager. Use it to install any kind of package. With the help of yum, I am installing the Git here. What I'm installing? Git. Wait, I have given installing. Yum install Git. So it is going to ask you permission. Now you can put yes. Y for yes. You can use this Y in the starting of the command also. So now Git will be installed. So the same command I'm going to write here. So in the practical part, here I'm writing practical part. In the practical part, first create EC2 instance and log into server. After that, what you gonna do? mkdir paytm cd paytm. What is the command to install Git? Install Git -y. If you give -y, it is not going to ask you the permission. For example, if you can go and see here, is it asking me the permission or not, sir? Here I need to give the permission. But if you put -y here, it is not going to ask you the permission. Once you install the Git, now you need to initialize the repository. What you need to initialize? Why? Because without repository, your commands will not work for you. I'm telling you again, without repository, these commands will not work. I'll show you practically also. Let me go and do it practically. See, first of all, in this repository, I'm going to create a file. The file will be index.html. Which file? I'm not going to write the code, but I'll create the file. Tell me the command to create the file called index.html. Touch index.html. Are you seeing the file now? Tell me one thing. Currently, as per the architecture, okay, you know the architecture here. As per the architecture, currently, where is the file located? Is in the, how can you tell it is in the working directory? Because you just create a file and you just wrote the code. When you create a file, by default, that is going to be on the working directory. Now from working directory, the file need to come to which area? Staging area. There is a command called git status. Which command? This command will show this file is tracked or not. If I hit enter, you are going to get an error. What is error? Fatal, not a Git repository. It is telling that, array man, you are running the command called git status, but there is no Git repository. If there is no Git repository, I will not run any kind of Git commands. Go the console and give the command git init. Now you can see your empty repository is initialized on root paytm.git. Currently I am on root paytm only. If I give ll, I cannot see .git. Why? Because .git is a hidden folder. Which folder? If you want to see hidden files or hidden folders, we need to put -a. Are you seeing .git now? Sir, previously, if I give the command git status, is it working for you? No. But is it working or not, sir? Now tell me, index.html is tracked file or untracked file? Untracked files will be on which area? Untracked file will be presenting on the working directory only. If the file is untracking, it is on working directory. If the file is tracking, it is on. So now from working directory to, I want to bring my file to staging area. Okay, we can use the command called git add. Which command? If I use the command git add, the file will come from working directory to, that means the file will come for untracked to tracked. Let me go ahead and show you. Currently the file index.html is on untracked area. Clear the screen. Give the command git add and name of the file will be. Now give the command git status. This is to check in which area our file is. Currently the file is on which area? Tracked area. Why? Because you can see it is on green color. Which color? If it is red, that means it is on untracked. If it is on green, tracked. Tell me one thing, which command helped the file to bring from working to staging area? Git add. Is it clear for all of you now? So I'm writing the commands one by one here. Give the command git init and write touch index.html. This is to create a file. Next, if we want to see the status, command is to show status of a file. Sir, how can I track the file by using the command git add index.html? This command is to track the file. Sir, once you track the file, what is the next step you're gonna do? You are going to put this file on the repository. What is the meaning of repository here? It is the place where we store the tracked files. Which command will be helpful to get the file from staging area to repository? We can use the command called git commit. So use the command called git commit. -m stand for message. What is -m stand for? Here you can pass any kind of message, okay? So in real time, what will happen, developers will pass some message. If I want to add some new feature for the file, after adding the new feature to the file, I can add here new features added. Or if I fix some bug in the code, I can commit the bug has been fixed. So depending upon the what kind of work we done into the code, here we can write some commit message. But here for as of now, I'm writing here commit one. And what is the name of the file you want to track? I mean like store index.html. Now if I hit this one, if I give the command git status, you cannot see the file now. Are you able to see the file now? If the file is on red color, it is on working directory. If the file is on green color, it is on staging area. But if you are not seeing the file, that means the file is on repository. Is it clear now? So this is the architecture. First of all, you are going to create the file. Next, you are going to track the file. Finally, you are going to commit the file. So the command for commit is git commit -m. What is the commit message you want to give? You can give. And name of the file. This is to commit the file. Sir, what is the meaning of committing? Committing means storing the tracked file. What is the meaning of committing? Storing the tracked file. Guys, the same concept is going to be applicable for all the things. If you want to store another file, create the file, track the file, commit the file. What is the thing? Create, track, commit. Here I am writing, okay? Create, track, commit. The shortcut will be CTC. What is the shortcut? What is the full form of CTC? Hey, not this one, man. I'm asking your package CTC. Cost to the company. So remember this shortcut. CTC will be the shortcut for the Git. Create the file, track the file, commit the file. Let's go and do this for some other file. Now tell me the process. I'm going to create a file called file1. I want to track it and I want to commit it. Tell me the process. First, to create a file. What is the command to create a file? Touch. And name of the file will be. After creating the file, give the command git status. It is optional. Currently, where is the file? Untracked means it is on which area now? You can see it. It is on which area? From working directory to staging area. I want to bring that file. Which command I need to use? Correct. So give the command git add name of the file. Now give the command git status. It's on which area now? How can you tell it's on staging area? Green color. Now the file is on staging area. I want to bring the same file to the repository. Which command? Git commit -m. Commit number 2. I'm using commit number 2. And what is the name of the file? File1. That's done. Now if I give the command git status, am I able to see the file now? In the status, if the file is not visible, means that file is stored on the repository. Create the file, track the file, commit the file. Now let's do this the same process for the file tree. Now you tell me. Touch file tree. Next. Status is optional. Status I shown you for your clarity only. No need to use the command status all the time. Git add file 3. Now currently the file is on which area? Now I want to bring it to repository. Tell me the command. Git commit -m. I'm using commit 3. What is the name of the file? File 3. Again, same process for file 4. Tell me the process. Touch file 4. Git add file 4. Git commit -m commit 4. And what is the name of the file? File 4. So what is the shortcuts are here? Create the file, track the file, commit the file. Now is the stages and online. Can you please confirm? Is the stages and comments clear for all of you in the online? Can you please confirm in chat box? To get the .git. If you don't get .git, your comments will not work. Again, what is .git here? It's a local repository. So it was clear. Great. Sir, whatever you did is on our local laptop. Yes, basically I done it on the server, but you can do same thing on the local laptop also. Fine. Okay, sir. So the class timing is already, first to 70 minutes will be the class. I think it's first to 70 minutes will be done. And what is the next 20 minutes for? Doubts and queries. But before going for doubts and queries, first of all, I'll explain the interview questions. After every class is done, I'm going to go for the interview question first. Why? Because these interview questions will be able to help you a lot. I'm telling you, if you prepare these questions, cracking the interview will be very, 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 very easy. Lot of my previous students who cracked the interview, they have referred the same interview questions. Okay. So now I'll be asking you the questions. You tell me the answers. First of all, what is Git and why we need to use it? Tell me the answer. First of all, begin with Git full form. What is Git full form? Global information tracker. Why we need to use it? To store the each version of the code separately. Next, what is the difference between distributed versus centralized version control system? Distributed means source code will be multiple repos. Centralized means source code will be on single repo. What is the example for distributed? Git. Centralized? Correct. What is rollback, sir? Going back to the previous version of application. And how to do the rollback? By storing the previous version of the code separately. Explain the stages or architectures of a Git. How many stages we are having? What are those? Working directory, staging area, repository. What is working directory? Where we write the code. What is staging area? Where we track the code. What is repository? Where we store the tracked code. What is local repo? Just now I said, just now. Local repo is nothing but .git. Which one? .git is our local repository. If you don't have local repository, your commands will not work. Let me show you this one and let me add this to the notes also. In the notes I am writing here, git init means if you do git init, you will be getting .git. What is .git? It's local repo. For example, if you go and check here, in your server, are you seeing .git here? Are you seeing or not? For example, if I give the command git status, this command will work. But if I go to other folder, in the other folder, I'm having .git here. .git. No, right? If I give the same command, it is not going to work. Why it is not working? Because here there is no local repo. Git will execute the commands if we have local repository on our current folder. If there is no local repo, is our commands going to work? So in your practice also, this is the issue you are going to face. Whenever if you get fatal error, not a Git repository, means your mistake is you are executing the commands on the wrong folder, or your folder is not having the .git repository. So now again, if I go to the Paytm repository, here do I have .git folder now? Now if I give the command git status, is it going to work for you? That's it. So please make sure that whatever the commands you are executing, before executing the commands, please check your .git. What you need to check? What is .git here? Local repository. So as per the architecture, this Git is nothing but .git. Okay. Once you've done everything on the .git, you are going to send the code to the GitHub. This is the concept we are going to see in the tomorrow session. Okay. Today we seen what is Git and how to use the Git and how to install the Git. In tomorrow session, I'm going to tell you how to send the files from our local laptop to the GitHub itself. That's it. So now, before going for doubts and queries, my first question for all of you: how's the class for all of you today? Is the class clear for all of you? Online, can you please confirm how's the class for all of you today? Okay, awesome, good, excellent, fine, nice and great. Okay. So guys, today is the day one of DevOps. So however I explain the subject in today's session, so till the end of the course, you are going to get the same way of explanation. Okay, coming to the subject, we are going to analyze the subject, not learning. Learning is different, analyzing is different. Okay, so try to come to the classes daily. If you come to the classes daily, you will get a lot of good subject and you can crack the jobs. I think all of like I shown you the live examples also, how many previous students got placed and how Naresh Shetty is going to provide the placement support for all of you. Fine. So now we can go for doubts and queries part. But sir, will we tomorrow we don't have any class, man. So your classes will be on from Monday to Saturday. Sunday I'm not going to take any class. Huh? Fine. So today is your first question. Yeah, Purushottam, you can speak. Like I'll give you the unmute option for you. And before that, guys, these notes you are going to access from where? Google Classroom. Okay, I'll upload this to the Google Classroom. But before uploading, there is one small comment I'll tell you. You might get some doubt. How many times we committed the file? I mean, like how many commits we done? 4 commits. Now you will get it out, sir. How to check the commits in our server? The command is going to be very, very easy. If I use the command git log, it is going to show me the commits. How many commits I done? Are you seeing the commits? Like that. Sir, in this commit, you can see the commit ID. Head master is nothing but you committed the file to master branch. What is the meaning of master branch? I'm going to explain on the tomorrow session. Why? Because it's a separate topic for us. But again, master is nothing but the default branch. I'm just giving a small overview. Master is nothing but a default branch. By default, all your commits will be going to the master branch. It is the commit ID. Coming to the author, who committed the file? Root user, but you can put your name also. Okay, I can put my name called Raham and I can give my email also. And coming to the time, at what time I committed the file? So and so time, at Saturday, June 8th, I committed on the so and so time. What is the commit ID? 4. But sir, this commit seems to be very lengthy. I want to get the commit information in the very short format. So I can give the command git log hyphen hyphen one line. What I can use? One line. If I use this one, am I getting the commit ID and commit name or not, sir? Okay, same information I'm getting on the short format. How many commits you are getting now? Sir, I don't want all the commits. I want only last 2 commits. Put hyphen 2. Hyphen 2 will give last 2 commits only. No, sir, I want to get the last 3 commits. I can put hyphen 3. Okay. So this is the small comment about the git log. So the purpose of git log is to show commits history. To show commits history. Sir, if I want to get commits on short format, I can give hyphen hyphen one line to show commits on short format. And sir, if I want to get the last 2 commits, I can put git log hyphen hyphen one line hyphen 2. This is to show last 2 commits. To show last 2 commits. So is it clear for all of you now? And you might get one more doubt also, sir. You are showing me this one. Give the command git log. But how to get our username here and how to get our email here? It is one of the most doubt you are having. Tell me one thing. Do you want me to explain this concept today or tomorrow? It will take only 30 seconds to explain. Today only, yeah? Okay. See, the concept is very easy. The command will be git config. I am configuring the username. user dot name. What is the username here? That's it. Same way, I want to configure my email. Give the command git config user dot email. And I'm giving some dummy email, okay? raham@gmail.com. Now, if I give git log, am I going to get the username and email as Raham or not, sir? No, sir. Why? Because these commits are already done. I just changed my configuration. That means whatever the commits you do from now onwards, you will get the username Raham and you will get the email raham@gmail. But these previous commits will not have any changes. Let's go and commit a file to check whether I'm getting my username or not. Touch file 4. 4 already done. Okay, touch file 5. Git add. Tell me. File 5. Git commit -m commit 5. File 5. Oh, sorry, file 5. Now give the command git log. You can go and check here. For the last commit, what is the username? And what is the email? Applied for which commit? That's it, okay? It is very, very small command to configure. So I'm just giving here configure user name. And remember, in real time, you will configure your username and email at only one time, okay? Multiple times you are not gonna configure them. So let me add these 2 commands also. It will be done. So guys, that's it for today's session. Now it's time for our doubts and queries. Okay. So online, if you are having any queries over today's session, you can raise your hand, and offline, you can ask me your doubts and queries. And one more thing is here, like, how many of you got the Google Classroom access here? Raise your hands. Google Classroom access. Those who have done the payment, please go to the admin and please go and ask the Google Classroom access. You will be getting the classroom access. Why? Because this entire presentations and the entire class notes I'm going to put on the classroom itself. That's it. So guys, now it's time for our doubts and queries. So I'm going for the online queries now. So please listen to these queries first of all. So first of all, I'm giving unmute option for Kiran. Kiran, you can go ahead and you can speak now. Kiran Kumar. And online, like remaining people, you can raise your hand, like you have the unmute option.
Sir.
Kiran, please go ahead.
Namaste, Raham sir. Namaste, Raham sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Kiran, but please try to speak a little bit louder. I'm getting your voice
Okay,
very.
Sir. Okay, so can you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Clear?
Please go ahead.
Is it clear? So, Namaste, sir. My name is Kiran. I'm staying in South Africa.
Okay.
So this is the a problem from the beginning. So we are out of station and somewhere, and we have to practice. We want to actually, I want to really practice for the day 1, but there are a few gaps where I can't able to. First, the purchases has made a problem for me. Then I sorted out with the banks and everything. Now I have purchased the free tier AWS service. The second one is I need to, after watching your videos again and again, then I try to create the EC2 instances. That's fine, sir. But the classes, coming to the classes, I have requested Praveen sir a lot of times about the Google link, the Google Class links. So I don't know, and why I didn't get that. I already paid the amount, half of the amount, as you already said that I can pay half of now, and next month I can pay half of the amount. So I'm gonna do. Yeah, the remaining amount, I want to take the full video classes also. So I paid half of the amount, and the next half of I'm gonna pay in the next month. That's 100%, sir. The third one I want to ask is, so you said we can practice, or we can take a guidance of the mentors within a virtual, like a virtual class or virtual lab.
Okay.
So that is also, we need a clear details on it, sir. So I'm gonna say I have practiced 0, sir. I'm really saying I practiced with 0 because I'm getting issues. First, I need to configure my laptop. Like you said, you are saying that I have to install something. I have to write. The code is fine, sir. Where I can do some only execute in the in the command line one, but all of them, I want to make my laptop to configure first to 100% things. So the first one, the third one, that one. So I want to know who is going to give us all the information like this, whom we need to, who are allocated for us to mentor, where I can contact. We need a response. So after 6 days, it's 8th day or something. So Praveen sir didn't get back to me. So whatever he need, we already given them. But no classes, nothing. Whatever we taking your notes, screenshots, we just going through that. Not only me, there are few people because I recommended few people who are in your class. So they are also from other places out of India. So this should not be happen, sir, because we want an immediate response from the admins. That's the
Okay,
first
okay.
one.
So basically, I
Because
got your
and your
query. Yep. So guys,
yes.
listen here. There are like some of the queries from online. See, I'll just give an overview like how these things are going to work from our course. See, once if you enroll for the course, first of all, you are going to get the Google Classroom link. Okay. So for the offline people here, we have the offline admin. So these people are going to maintain up to the rate. But for the online, sometimes what happen, so online admins will be getting lot of messages in a day. So sometimes they might miss these messages for you. But don't worry, by the Monday, you are going to get everyone the Google Classroom access. Before the class only, we are going to provide. Second one is going to be virtual lab, guys. See, what is the meaning of virtual lab? Means for offline, here you have the facility to get to the labs. You can go to the lab from morning 8 to evening 6 p.m. at any time. But for the online, we are going to create a Zoom link for all of you. Okay. So this is going to be sent to your registered email. So once you add it to the Google Classroom, so you will be going to get a link for the virtual labs. So you can book a slot. In that particular slot, we are going to allocate a mentor for your doubts and queries. Okay. This is gonna take some time. Why? Because there are a lot of registrations still is on pending. That is the reason why they might hold for the all online like students. But don't worry, like in the upcoming days, we are going to solve it, Kiran. Don't worry as of now. Okay.
Thank
By
you.
Monday,
Okay,
everything
sir.
is gonna be LRN structure for you. But try
Okay,
to
sir.
adjust for only
And
this single.
yes, sir. Okay, so I'm happy. I'm happy the class coming to your session, sir. The session is very clear and understandable, sir. Thank you. Thank you for that round, sir.
Thank you, Kiran. Thank you very much.
That's also from my side. Have a nice
Thank
day,
you.
sir.
Yeah, great. Okay. So next question is from Purushottam. So offline, try to maintain some silence. Why? Because if you are speaking, I'm not able to hear their queries. Okay. Fine. Next, Purushottam, you can speak now. So please try to listen to their queries. Why? Because their doubts might be helpful for you. Okay.
Hello.
Purushottam, you can go ahead.
Yes. I'm able to. I'm audible, sir.
Purushottam, wait. Like basically, I'm getting some low voice from you. Give me a second. Can you speak now?
Hello. Now it is fine, sir.
Hello, Purushottam. Like wait. Can you speak now once? Purushottam, if you are speaking, like I'm not able to hear you. Like I lost your voice. Hello. Guys, can anyone from online try to speak once?
Hello, sir.
Still, I'm not getting online like voice from your side.
Hello. Hello, sir. Hello.
Give me a second. Are you able to hear me now online? I lost your voice, I think so. Not signal, it's audio issue. Online, like I think like your audio got disconnected. Please try to ping me your queries in the online, okay, chat box. But because I'm not able to hear you, but you are able to hear me here. Okay, please ping your questions, Purushottam and like Mike for this time, okay? Okay, guys, so today is the last day for all of you to complete your payment. Okay, by tomorrow you need to complete your payment. Like why? Because from tomorrow onwards we are going to close the session, like batch. So it's not fixed now. So like tomorrow, if you are coming to session, so please try to complete your payment as soon as possible. Okay. So let me go to the online couple of queries. Give me a couple of minutes. Update about 9 a.m. It will take 3 weeks from now, the session. Okay. Can we take screenshot for daily class? Then you can take, but I'll be giving the notes for you. Okay. No need to take the screenshots. You can get these notes. And become Big Bash for his mobile storm. Mobile storm will provide the multi-exhibition mode, whereas Big Bash cannot going to provide that. So you'll be getting some more insights of mobile storm in the upcoming days for you. But if you ask me, I suggest mobile storm instead of Big Bash. So don't worry, daily after the session, we are going to communicate like this, but today we have some audio issue here. So let's keep this on upcoming days. Okay, so that's it for today's session, guys. Let's meet on Monday session with some new topic. Have a great day, bye, and have a great weekend. Thank you all. Purushottam, it is possible for you. I'll be going to guide him in the upcoming days. Don't worry about it. Okay, I'll be going to guide you.